World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good day. This is World News in 5 here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. 4 more people have been pulled from rubble nearly 60 hours after a powerful 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck Myanmar last Friday, killing at least 1,700 people in the Southeast Asian country. It was reported by the BBC that Myanmar's fire service said survivors were rescued from a collapsed school building in the northern Sagaing region, from which a body was also recovered. Hundreds of people remain missing, with ongoing search and rescue efforts in both Myanmar and Thailand. The death toll has risen to 18 people in Bangkok, where 76 workers are still missing following the collapse of a high-rise building that had been under construction. Friday's earthquake occurred near Myanmar's second largest city, Mandalay, along with Sagaing Fault, with tremors affecting several other nations. In other news overseas, United States President Donald Trump has said he is very angry and pissed off with Russian President Vladimir Putin after weeks of attempting to negotiate a ceasefire in Ukraine. The BBC reported that the US President said in an interview that he was angry with his Russian counterpart for attacking Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's credibility and threatened to impose a 50% tariff on countries buying Russian oil if he did not agree to a ceasefire. This is the first time the US has seriously threatened Russia with consequences for dragging its feet in ceasefire negotiations. It was noted that European leaders had worried that Trump was cozying up to Putin as negotiations on a ceasefire in Ukraine continued. However, while US President Trump said that the Russians knew of his anger, he claimed that he had a very good relationship with Russian President Putin. And finally, United States President Donald Trump threatened Iran with bombing and secondary tariffs if Tehran did not come to an agreement with Washington over its nuclear program. Reuters reported that in Trump's first remarks since Iran rejected direct negotiations with Washington last week, the US President told NBC News that US and Iranian officials were talking but did not elaborate. It is noted that Iran sent a response through Oman to a letter from US President Trump urging Tehran to reach a new nuclear deal, saying its policy was to not engage in direct negotiations with the United States while under its maximum pressure campaign and military threats. This is what Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian also reiterated on Sunday. In the NBC interview, Trump also threatened so-called secondary tariffs, which affect buyers of a country's goods on both Russia and Iran. He signed an executive order authorizing such tariffs on buyers of Venezuelan oil. It could be recalled that in his first term, Trump withdrew the US from a 2015 deal between Iran and world powers that placed strict limits on Tehran's disputed nuclear activities in exchange for sanctions relief. And that concludes today's edition of World News in 5. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this has been Steph Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.